All right, Pops.
Yeah.
It's a good looking t-shirt you got on.
Yeah. Somebody came through. I'm going to move the microphone real quick. Oh, yeah, buddy. Knowledge is power. The kid came through. He spent the money. There you have it.
I'm here for you, Pops.
Occasionally, yes.
And the money that I spent to buy that t-shirt came from our sponsor.
Yes. FindTheBestCarPrice.com/insider, where Jeff and his team have...
That is so aggressive.
where Jeff and his team...
You see those bars? That's your audio.
Yes. So Jeff and his team, they've gathered and compiled all the factory incentives for...
It doesn't mean you have to go that slow, because then we're going to be so far into the video.
Okay, so go visit FindTheBestCarPrice.com/insider to find the best car price. Go visit Jeff and his team at FindTheBestCarPrice.com/insider.
Goodness gracious. Okay, Pops. Yeah. We are talking about today. The title of the video says.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about recalls.
What?
Recalls.
I can't recall that. What?
Knock on wood, your recollection and recall stays good.
Yes.
But seriously, it's a topic we've done hundreds of videos. We've never talked about the impact that recalls have on should I buy a vehicle or not if it has an open recall? Does it affect resale value? Things like that. And we get emails all the time, which we love and appreciate.
Yeah.
But people asking us, hey, there's an open recall on this vehicle.
Yeah.
Should I not buy it? And so that's what I wanted to open up today for you, Dad, is as a car buyer, what should I be concerned about if I see a vehicle has a recall?
You should be concerned about what type of recall it is. Okay. And what you really should be concerned about is whether or not, because of that recall, there's a stop sale notice from the manufacturer or from the federal government, requiring that the recall be taken care of before the vehicle can be sold.
Okay.
And there is a website offered by the government that you can
I'll put the link on the screen.
Please do, because I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but I know from all the years I spent in the car business that there is such a website that you can check to see what the status is of particular recalls and how they impact the potential sale of a vehicle.
Well, it's not how they impact the potential sale of a vehicle.
Well, they do, because if there's a stop sale, then you can't sell the car.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
But the website, the purpose of the government website is you put in a VIN and it'll tell you if there are any open recalls.
Yes.
And your point is there are different types of recalls, some that can incur a stop sale on that vehicle, others that you can continue to sell that vehicle. You just need to be aware that there's an open recall.
And that the manufacturer will take care of it at no charge to you once the fix is available. But if it's a vehicle where there's a stop sale, and I've been involved in any number of situations with BMW and Mini, where there was an issue, the manufacturer put a stop sale on the vehicle. The dealerships could not sell them until the fix was available, and in some cases, especially in the Volkswagen and Audi world and Porsche world, with the diesels that had the issues. The dealers had to sit on those cars for a year and a half until Volkswagen or Porsche or Audi could come up with a fix.
Yep.
So oftentimes there can be recalls where you're mandated to not sell the car. If you do sell the car knowing that there's that open recall and a stop sale on it, you're subjected to a $10,000 fine.
Gotcha.
For having sold it.
But okay, so as a car buyer, I think it's relatively straightforward. Like if there's a stop sale, unless it's a illegitimate type of dealership, they're not going to sell it because they don't want a $10,000 fine. Nor do I want to buy something that has a stop sale on it. So that to me is relatively straightforward.
Yes.
But if there's just a recall, there's probably a recall right now on your Mini. Isn't there a recall on your Mini right now?
No, there was a notification for a programming update, which is different than a recall.
Okay, but let's just say there's a general recall.
Let's say there's a safety recall of some kind. Okay.
And I don't own the vehicle, but I'm interested in buying the vehicle.
And the dealership is interested in selling it.
Definitely.
And let's say it's not their brand.
I guess, I'm curious, should I even consider it?
You can insist or you can ask that the selling dealer make the arrangements to take it to the authorized factory dealership that can actually do the recall.
That's a normal request?
Oh, absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't tell you how many times at dealerships that I worked at where we would run the report, see if there was an open recall. We would contact, if it was a Honda and we were at the Mini dealership, we would contact the Honda dealer, make arrangements for a service appointment, bring the car over to them, have them do the recall at no charge. and then bring it back and sell it. But if some dealers are lazy and they don't want to do that, but as the buyer, you can ask that they get that done prior to you actually taking delivery of the vehicle.
Now, should I even consider buying cars that have recalls?
Sure, it depends on the type of recall.
What's like your threshold? Like if it's a safety recall, I'm going to pass,
if it's like,
that's a lot of ifs.
For years, there were the Takata airbag issues. Okay,
I'm not buying a Takata airbag car.
Well, guess what? More than likely you were.
I did drive a Mazda, yeah.
And they didn't have a fix for that right away. And the government said, you know what? Even without the fix, people can still drive these cars.
Yeah.
And so there was a safety recall that nobody might have had a fix for at the time. That the likelihood of you having that issue was so remote that the government felt that it was safe enough for people to continue to buy and sell them.
Yeah.
And then there's other type of recalls where you just might not feel comfortable. I don't know if there's some type of fuel issue recall. You just might not feel comfortable until they've developed the fix that they actually take care of.
Now, another thing relating to recalls.
Yes.
Appreciate your answer there. Are lemon law buyback cars, are those considered recalls? Like if that's a whole different.
That's just a lemon law buyback.
Okay, and then do you look at them through the same lens as a recall car though, or a car that maybe had previously a stop sale?
You would look at that as a car that comes with a branded title that says lemon or buyback, manufacturer buyback.
Okay, so there's a title implication on those versus recall.
You would look at that and you would say, okay, there was a lemon law buyback for this vehicle.
Okay,
because whatever the issue was couldn't be fixed in the requisite number of times that a dealership has the opportunity to fix it. Once the manufacturer buys it back, they will then invest their time through their mechanics to fix it, assuming that they get it fixed properly, and they provide you with additional warranty coverage. Then you really shouldn't have an issue. But having said that, if the original issue returns, you can't.
Your SOL.
You can't do another lemon law buyback.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so we have recalls, which break down into a whole subset of like different types of recalls, but the big one to be aware of is stop sale recalls.
Yes, and they happen more frequently than you would like to know.
So government website's one place that you can get that information. I imagine on like Carfax reports, it has a recall section on Carfax reports. And we've done some research. There's an organization called NMVIDIS.
Okay.
It's associated with the government organization. I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose how much it costs to get access to their data. It is a lot. There's a huge, especially for like the amount of money we have, a huge upfront cost to access their data because we wanted to bring it into the Your Auto Advocate dashboard. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. That's going to be way in the future. I'm telling you, it is very prohibitively expensive. Like for enterprises. But NMVIDIS has that data. Carfax has that data. We'll put the government website as well. Yeah.
Do you remember when back in May, April, May, and early June when we were actually helping people buy cars?
Yeah.
And we ran into situations.
I can't forget that time.
Yes. And we ran into situations where there were cars that were available that people wanted to buy. But there were open stop sale recalls, and the dealerships couldn't sell those.
No, yep, I completely remember. Yeah.
So, and that happens across the board, all the manufacturers, not just BMW, not just Mercedes-Benz, but to all of them at a certain point in time.
And I guess my final question, Dad, would be, as a car buyer, if there's a recall, does that give me any leverage in negotiation? I don't think it does, but I'm just curious. The dealer doesn't care.
No, it's the recall is going to be paid for by the manufacturer.
Yep.
So no, there's no leverage. There's no leverage at all. Even if it's a stop sale, there's no leverage because in the situation with the diesel engines.
Yeah.
Volkswagen and Porsche and Audi, they were paying their dealers a lot of money to sit on those cars.
Yeah, because there's obviously, we talk about all the time, the floor plan costs, but that's being subsidized by the OEM.
And they were paying more than what the floor plan costs were. And then they at the end, when you could sell them, they gave the dealers a large lump sum payment per vehicle so that the dealers could afford to discount them 35%
to sell them.
Yeah. But because they'd been sitting on dealers' lots for a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
So, but no, there's no leverage.
No, I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, you want to move the mic one more time because I think we'll zoom in on this beautiful T-shirt.
There it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Knowledge is power.
Okay. So like you see, no. Yeah, don't people. So we're using the new mics, right?
Yeah, new mics.
And so you see, Dad, like, see, and then there's no bars.
Yes.
Little bars.
Because it's not picking it up. I feel like I am your father.
All right, we're gonna cut the video at this point. Thank you, Dad.
You're welcome. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? I crack myself up, and if that bothers you, I am so sorry.